2, 3, go. Hello there, Johnny Bonesaw here, coming at you with another episode of 1.16 Skyblock. Today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build a squid farm, so that way I can have some black glass for the next farm that I want to build, and also I'll be able to trade book and quills to villagers and just black ink to villagers. Up there, back by the main island, I am going to eventually build a little suburb area up there, modern looking suburban houses for some villagers. But that'll probably be later on down the line. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and get to work on the squid farm. Okay, well I have a problem here. I built it too high by a few blocks on accident. Yeah, my dumbass knew this too. I built it too low last time in my personal 1.15 Skyblock. So I knew to like double check the Y coordinates. For some reason I started it at 63 instead of 62 and then went up, so my source blocks were actually up at like 65, unfortunately. So I gotta tear this down and redo that, so I'm not gonna include that time lapse. I'm just gonna include the time lapse of me building this bottom tray and then tearing down this farm and then building the new one. And I'm gonna get into that now. Let's do it. Alright, so I'm going to kind of switch up the format here today due to the circumstances. I'll kind of just explain what I'm doing as I go. First thing I'm doing here is just building a platform for my minecart rails. Just giving it 2 different blocks to give it slight texture, mix it up a little bit so it doesn't look so drab. I really need to learn to get my camera work better. I was going for a smooth shot there. Didn't happen though. Alright, so now I tried to put a powered rail and redstone every other line, but I did have to go end up in the end and just do one whole strip across there of redstone blocks and then powered rails on top of them to keep the minecart pushing. And this is just everyday average minecart collection system. You go back and forth, and then at the end you loop around the far side, run over some hoppers that leak into a chest, and that's how it empties its contents every time. Right there, I'm putting in the hoppers right now. And then on top of this, I'm going to put a platform that they land on, and I'm going to make it out of glass so that other mobs do not spawn on top of that. And also it's not quite a full block, so the hopper will pick up what is above the glass. If you use some kind of full block, the hopper will not be able to reach through it. So you do got to use some kind of block like farmland or glass, or I mean just anything. Alternatively, just put a whole platform of hoppers leaking into a chest. You could build this whole platform out of just hoppers alternatively. And that's what I did in my last world, but I'm trying to do stuff a little differently this time. I want to learn other ways of doing things. Okay, so now we're going up and we're going to tear down this platform up top up here. And this was a pain in the butt, I tell you. This took for flippin' ever. I was very upset when I found out that I built it too high. I was alternatively thinking about just taking the bottom row of fence gates out so that it would go down further, and then I would have another row of fence gates down, maybe 10 or so that way I would have drown spawning in there and just make it into a drown farm. But the problem with that is it's too close to my other mob, my hostile mob farm, so the mob cap would have been greatly decreased, and it just would have been a whole waste of time and space in my industrial area. Okay, just finishing that up quick. Got the glass from my villagers. I was trading it slowly. And yeah, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm putting full blocks at every water source, because that's the only way to delete it without just picking every one of them up with a bucket and putting that into my infinite water source. So this way is just a little bit easier, and I made sure to make sure that my minecart system was set up below ahead of time, so that whatever I drop will fall into the system. Yep, and this is in fast forward, so you could just imagine how tedious of a task this is. My little 6-hour video here turned into about a 14-hour video, unfortunately. But hey, that's kind of just the way it is sometimes. You really got to pay attention to what you're doing, or you pay the toll keeper, you know? You pay Herobrine his price. Alright, just finishing up here, getting rid of this farm, and I'm going to take this trail down, and I'm going to go all the way back to the main island here, the original desert island, and I'm just going to go down a few blocks. Ugh, I really got to work on that camera movement. Especially when I like fly away, because I speed up time for a second. Like when I go, I don't have all my supplies ready. I'm trading them and harvesting them as I'm building. So I don't build this stuff in creative first, so I don't know exactly how much I'm going to need. Anyways, I'm building a 25 by 25 in diameter. I actually made a mistake there. You can see it's 26 one way, but it's supposed to be 25 by 25. I will correct that later. And then I'm making sure to put slabs on top of all that so that nothing can spawn up here. Make sure everything's slabbed up. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go down to the first block layer where I place my first layer of blocks, and I am going to build a little scaffolding about every 3 blocks out of my fence gates. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in this whole bottom area with fence gates. Every single block should be filled in with fence gates. From there, we're going to make a checkerboard grid pattern. Every other one on every line is going to hold 2 high fence gates. You're going to go 2 high in a checkerboard pattern on top of the original layer that you made. So altogether it's going to be 3 high of fence gates, and the top 2 will be in a checkerboard formation. I like to make sure that I have plenty of rockets on me and that my elytra is well charged, so that if I drop off, I'm not going to splat to my immediate death. But if you haven't been to the end yet, it's really not that big of a deal. If you fall down, you'll fall onto your minecart platform if you built that first like I did, and all your stuff will just get collected into a chest. No big deal. So right there you can see that I opened up all those gates, and that's so I could walk along the bottom and place that last one in. Okay, now in the holes of your checkerboard pattern on the top gate, you're going to place water in the checkerboard pattern opposite of how you placed your 2 high fence gates. As you can see, I missed one there. I gotta put another fence gate in there. There we go. This time I filled a whole inventory full of water buckets. Last time I only had 6, and it took me forever to fill this thing. It was much faster. I have the iron farm anyway, so it really wasn't a big deal to make, you know, the 36 buckets or whatever it is. Yeah, 36, 9 times 4. You can already see the squid spawning. It's a good sign. That means it's working. When you get about 20 blocks away, it should start to spawn squids. It's a time-consuming process, but it's the best way to get large amounts of black ink. Alternatively, though, you could go to the nether, spawn a wither, and then have him shoot all the endermen, and then they'll drop wither roses, which you can make black ink out of. See, that was a nice shot right there. Okay, so now what you want to do is you go through every fence gate and open them. Alright, well, we got this done, and it's working well. I can already see that it is working good. I got plenty of dye in here already, ink sacs. Grab them out, and I'm gonna go ahead and do some more trading with my villagers. And I guess since I really don't have much for this episode today, I'll just talk a little bit about plans. Above this sugarcane farm here, I suppose I'll probably put, first of all, I'll put like a vine, and then the weeping vines from the nether. I'll build a farm above the sugarcane for that, and then above that, and then also above the sugarcane farm, I will put kelp farms. We'll do kelp too. And then my secret project for next episode, kind of the reason why I wanted all this done today, because I want the dye for black glass, I'm going to build a bee farm down here. But not, I'm going to build it in a globe made out of yellow and black glass shaped like a bee. So that's kind of my plan for that one. As you can see, this thing's working well though. Success at the end. You know, I had a lot of problems with my replay mod again, unfortunately, and also this farm itself. But it's all worked out now, and it's a happy story in the end. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Johnny Bonesaw signing out. Bye-bye.